Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Ag Talking Raw, where I talk raw about agriculture and other things that are on my mind. So yesterday, I made an explanation as to how farmers, kind of get shafted a little bit, and maybe it was a little more complicated for some of you to understand. But in my mind, I explained it perfectly. But I'm going to go about this whole thing, and I'm absolutely going to explain it in layman's terms. So we all know that farmers buy retail and sell wholesale, right? Pretty common thing. We buy fertilizer at the price that the fertilizer company sells it for, which is retail. We buy parts for our equipment at the price that the dealerships sell it to us, just like everybody else, like all the non-agricultural folks. They go to the car dealership and they get, rammed in the ass with parts and pieces and shit like that. So we do too. Diesel fuel, for the end user, we get to pay all them taxes and all that fun stuff, just like everybody else. But when we do go to sell our crop, yes, our crop, our beautiful, lovely crop that we worked so hard, prayed over, coaxed along, tried to do our best, and to produce the biggest crop ever so that we get the lowest price ever. That's what we do. So that's exactly it. So I push for 300 and plus bushel corn so that I get, less money than I did last year, because I only produced last year 200 and some odd bushel corn. So that's what we do. So what I was trying to explain yesterday with my little table exercise there, and I really need the wheel of idiots right here. Okay, so we have the wheel of idiots, and we can spin this. I need the wheel of idiots. Can we build a wheel of idiots in 5 seconds? It's kind of like the wheel of misfortune, but it's the wheel of idiots. So here we are. Just say we've got two people, and a bunch of middlemen, because the middleman's the guy that actually makes the money. So I'm over here and I'm buying all my retails, all my inputs at retail, parts, tires, pieces, diesel fuel, fertilizers. Labor's not cheap every other week. How much do I pay in labor every other week? Approximately
$8,000.
Approximately $8,000 every other week goes to my labor bill, for those of you that think that I don't pay my employees. And there are a fair few of you that have criticized me for not paying enough to my employees, but $8,000 every other week goes to my employees. That doesn't include me. My pay is not in there because, I'm the guy that gets to make less than everybody else in the end, it feels. So we pay everything at retail. Everything that we buy, we pay at retail. But our product, our crop, whether it's corn, soybeans, wheat, barley, rye, alfalfa, clover, lesbedeza, timothy, orchard grass, smooth brome, or whatever it is, product that we're selling, sweet corn, vegetables, we are selling that at a wholesale price unless you have a retail store. Now, when you have a retail store, that goes next level nuts. If you're a smart person with a retail store, like, the little farm stand that's, on the corner of your driveway there, where you have your vegetables that you purchased in Lancaster County or other places where they can sell them cheaper than you can produce them because, well, I don't know, maybe they're better at it than we are. I don't know. I know that if I was to start a retail store, it would probably be like, sticking my balls in a vise and clamping them slowly, because I would have to take the time to go to Lancaster to purchase those produce that I would like to sell. Plus, I have to produce 51% of the things that I sell on the farm in order to get away with having that retail store, where I don't collect tax money, but I do have to have insurance, very large amounts of insurance, because, once you invite the public onto your property, to sell something, you then don't fall under that basic farm policy. Now you have to have a retail policy. So if you don't know anything about that, boy, I wish I had the wheel of idiots. So you got your income. Like, okay, now you're not selling wholesale. Oh, no. Now you're selling retail, and you've got people with kids, and they're coming. And you have idiots that want to come, slip on that banana peel that someone so conveniently left in the aisle there to break their leg to sue you for approximately $30,000. And that insurance policy has to pay for that. So your insurance goes up. So, and I'm happy that people do this because it's so nice to go into a farm-owned store and actually buy farm products. But it's not everybody can do it. Not everybody wants to do it. So my whole point in my little table, explanation, I used my phone yesterday like this. I was like, and here's where the guy that you're selling to sits, and here's where you sit, and all this food, and all the middlemen were, like on the edges, and there was nice desserts. Oh, well, I guess the desserts were over here, and the middlemen were over here, and they were all just grabbing the food. And here I am, the starving farmer on the end. Well, I'm not a socialist like some asshole called me. No, I'm not a socialist, but I am for fairness. So when a farmer like myself is producing a crop for approximately 21 years, I've been producing this crop and doing quite well for about 17, 18 years of that 21 years, done quite well, been able to raise a family, first family, raise that family, go through a divorce, and not a divorce, but a divorce. I went through one divorce, and then I got sued by my ex-wife in 2015. What a shit show that was. And that cost me a shit ton of money, but I was able to survive it without too much trouble. It was annoying for sure, when you're spending tens of thousands of dollars on lawyers and stuff like that because she's an idiot. Yeah, she's an idiot. Yeah, she is. And I hope she pays for that for the rest of her life too, because she's an idiot. And it was unnecessary. That was the crazy part of it, the unnecessary part of it. So for these 17, 18 years that I was in this business and doing well and buying equipment and, having a good time, able to save some money and pay my bills and do all this stuff, there were some unfortunate events that happened in the composting industry, like I said yesterday. So they made a mistake. They did. I did not make this mistake. They made the mistake. The unfortunate part is that they are using the people that did not make the mistake to pay for their mistake. So I just wanted to clear that up. So they made a mistake. They got sued. They lost like 80 to $100 million. Had to be paid out. So that 80 to $100 million has to come from somewheres. And they're sure as hell not going to cut it out of the CEO's pay or everybody else's pay. They're going to take it out of the guy they buy their raw materials. Whether it's the corn cob guy or the cottonseed hull guy or the cocoa hull guy or the poultry litter guy or the horse manure guy or the straw guy or the hay guy. They take a little from each one of those, and over the course of a few years, they're able to come up with somewhere between $80 and $100 million. And that's how they're paying their bills without sacrificing their plans to expand and grow bigger. So what I was basically getting at yesterday was it needs to be a little more fair than what it has been. Now, when you sit down at a table with a bunch of friends and family, this is where my analogy comes in. You sit down at the table with a bunch of friends and family, and there's that one person that's taking extra pork chops and stuff like that, and there's the one kid that eats maybe a little bit slower that isn't going to get that dessert because so-and-so's over there hogging it down like a pig, and nobody says anything. Of course nobody's going to say anything, but I would. Like, hey, slow down. There's other people at this table. You ever hear that from your mom and dad? Hey, slow down. Share some. There's enough to go around for everybody. You don't have to be such a pig. Well, that's the situation, and that's the analogy that I was going for. It's unfortunate that some of your brains went into political mode, and there was nothing political about yesterday's video, but you had to do it. Someone called me a socialist, or, I need to go sit at another table, which is true. And that's the capitalist society that we live in. So when someone is hogging everything and leaving you with nothing, you are going to starve out and go bankrupt. You need to go. You need to get up, excuse yourself politely because you don't want to burn the bridge there, and go off and do something else. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And it kind of sucks because for all these years, I always enjoyed what I did. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. I'm going to read a couple of comments. That was very nice, S. Purcell. I can't believe you would write such a nice thing. Uh, Anyways, hey, starving farmer, did you ever test the compost to see where you are gaining from it? I didn't need to test it. It came tested already. I know what's in it. Trust me. And I will not be sharing that. And I've said that before. 3, 4, 5 farm. I know what I'm getting. I know what's in it. So there you go. I just wanted to really read. Oh, here's one. Here's the weird. All right. That was the weirdest and most convoluted explanation of the farmer being a price taker. I don't know what a price taker is. I have ever heard, but in fairness, you did get to the point eventually. Thank you. As for the mushroom companies, you are experienced what happened over here in Europe about a decade ago, and they are now being forced to pay big money for straw. That's what they use for mushroom compost over here. Well, they do here too. And now the subs for incorporating straw, the price of straw is gone through the roof. Yes, that's what's going to happen. So here's what gets me is these companies are gobbling up all the smaller companies, so there's less competition for the purchasing of the hay, the straw, the manure, the cocoa hulls, and all the other inputs that go into this thing. And what's going on there is that now they're not price fixing to the grocery store. They're price fixing to the farmer. Like, they all get together, they sit at a table, and they say, hey, you know what? We got to pay a lot, and if you pay more for your hay and straw and everything that goes into your stuff, you're going to get the lion's share of it, and we're going to be left out. So why don't you just agree to buy at the same price that we are? Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it just seems to be that everybody is always on the same page, and they all know one another. So it's not like it would be out of the realm of things to do. The big thing is the farmers are not all going to get together and file a lawsuit for price fixing. We're just not going to do it. We'll move on to other things. We're kind of passive when it comes to that. I have a soapbox so I can stand up on it and say, hey, I don't like what you're doing, and this is what I'm going to do to combat it. And that's what I did yesterday. And I don't think it was a convoluted way of doing it. It's called fairness in business. When you have a business and you need everybody, you want to succeed, right? So you want to succeed. You don't succeed by screwing people, because that's a surefire way to end up in failure, okay? And it works that way in farming as well. So here in my little area, we've had people come in and they will rent ground away from you for stupid money because they came from a farming area and they moved here because they liked the area. They felt that they could rent ground, and take it away from the guys that have been doing business here for all these years and grow huge crops, but they don't know what the ground is like. And they always, always, always fail. And there are a few farmers in the area that have forgotten the rules of Kingwood Township, Hunterdon County, Delaware Township, Franklin Township, Alexandria Township, all these townships, Milford, Frenchtown, all these places, even Stockton. Stockton, if you forget the rules of this area, you will fall flat on your face. I have forgotten the rules to a degree at times. Yes, I have. Don't plant too wet because it'll fuck you in the ass every time. And that's one of the major rules that gets forgotten. We are on marginal soil. And I'm a firm believer that there is no such thing as bad ground. There's just bad farmers. And that's a fact. Now, all farmers can have crop failures. It doesn't matter how good you are or how bad you are, crop failures happen. You can have a drought, you can have floods, you can have hail, you can have wind, you can have all kinds of elements that hit us in the face. And you have to be able to overcome these things. So minimize your risk with the land that you farm, and those are the easy farms, what I call idiot-proof farms. My grandparents' place up here in Alexandria Township, I farm it. It's idiot-proof. That whole area in there is idiot-proof. Now, there is a line where Kingwood meets Alexandria, and that is not idiot-proof. That will make an idiot of you every time. There are farmers that have come onto that ground, said, we're going to make $1 billion here because this is the same ground that's right across the fence row. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's not. It is not at all. Kingwood has a line, and it is a tough one. If you've never done it or grown in Kingwood, you will never do it very well. There's rules, just like in your area, just like in everybody's area. My wife used to threaten to leave me. One day she did. It's been 52 years. I never tried marriage again. And this is kind of funny because I said to my wife the other day, and I know I said this yesterday, I said, we're going to grow soybeans. And what did you tell me? You remember? Something about a divorce?
Yeah, you be broke man, you be no woman, you be see you later.
See you later. See, so if I grow soybeans, I'm going to go broke because it's the deer. But unfortunately for Miss Teresa here, there's a rotation that I'm going to do. It's going to be corn into rye or wheat, not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure it's going to be rye. And then after I get that rye off, I'm going to drill beans in. And that's what I'm going to do. So I've minimalized my risk by taking the rye off because I get the rye seed and the straw off of there. So I've already made my money there on the property. And if I drill beans in and I only get 20 bushels to the acre, I've still made money. So that's the deal. That's what I want to do. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to make money on soybeans anyway because the deer pressure over there is minimal. And I know what a shotgun is. Do you know what a shotgun is? Mm-hmm. And you know how to use it? We'll teach you. Actually, years ago, when I was married to my first wife, we were shooting deer and soybeans. We had a Ford Expedition, and I climbed on the back of that thing, and she drove it like, oh my God, she darn near killed me a couple times. But I'm on the back, boom, boom, boom. He's blasting deer off the back of this car. Kids are in the back seat laughing. They thought it was funnier than hell. Yeah, I kicked dogs for fun. Mm-hmm. So all you snowflakes that thought I really kicked that dog, yes, the dog yelped. I actually did not really kick the dog. I just moved quickly and touched the dog. I don't kick the dog for fun. So get off of it. Get over yourselves. If I kicked the dog, you'd have seen me turn around and that dog launch out the door. So sorry about that. As long as wages inflate with it, no problem right now. Okay, so that's where we're going. Okay, so Mr. Norman and Ron Ryle. I'm going to read that one. Thanks, Wes, for 35 minutes. Went quick. Just about everyone is raising their prices, but in the end, the consumer pays it all. But he is nobody to pass the cost. He has nobody to pass the cost on to. Well, the consumers have been enjoying extremely cheap food for an extremely long time. Go to Europe. Go to Asia. Go to all these countries where food is A, scarce, B, very expensive. Come to the United States where food has been cheap for a very long time, and what do you see? Fat people. Fat people. They go to Burger King, they go to Wendy's, there's lines out to the highways because the food is cheap, it's fast, and it's really not that good for you. But if you go to Europe, and yes, these places are there, England, spent time in England, the food there was expensive. It was very expensive. We didn't spend a lot of money on food because we didn't eat a lot. But we did go, the bill was high. We went out, the bill was high. One of the funnest nights in a pub ever was in Dorsten, England. What an awesome pub. Oh, the Pandy Inn at Dorsten. Awesome. I loved it. Teresa was locked upstairs in the bedroom because England has some really weird locks. If you've been watching my channel since 2016, you'll remember that you got to see Teresa's boobies online, right? Yeah. Do you remember that?
No, I don't know.
She's like, hi. Right?
Shut up.
She wasn't. No, she wasn't. I was filming and she was naked in the bathroom. And my mom calls me, Wes, you better take that video down because Teresa said, I have no clothes on. That was funny. It was funny. She said she was embarrassed, but she's built pretty well, so, it's okay. Anyways, Ron Ryle, as long as wages inflate with it, no problem. Right now, there is wage inflation to go with price inflation. As for farmers, inputs have inflated right along with prices. The problem for farmers is if you have a terrible weather and have small crop to sell from too dry or too wet, high crop price can't overcome input prices if no crop to sell, which is absolutely correct. My problem with the composters is all of my inputs in, I-N, not im, no M, it's an N. All of my input prices have gone up 30-40%. All of them, prices. Parts 4%, equipment 20-30%. Everything has gone up, up. They kept the price of hay at the same. It's costing me the same amount to get it's costing me more money to get the product to its place, but the price has stayed the same. So therefore, there's an unfair balance in the way they're doing business. And they're claiming that they're not making any money on the product, yet they're buying things like millions of dollars worth of things, including paying a bill, a very large one, for price fixing. So that's where my dilemma is. So we're not having great weather for making hay. And I've got some weed pressure in some of these fields that I'm clearing off early that needs to be done. And that's where I'm going to go as soon as I'm done with this video, is go mow hay, because it has to be on the ground. I don't care if it gets wet, because it's got weeds in it, and it's got to go to the mushroom barn, which is fine. So they're not getting an A1 quality product this year. I don't care. I just don't care. Before I would blend it, this year I'm not even going to bother. So I'm coming back in with fertilizer, and I'm going to go with a second cut, and that will not go to the mushroom barns. Those will go out to auction barns, and there's a company up in New York that's going to purchase it from me for way more money, which will offset what these dildos down in whatever county it is, Pennsylvania, have been, have figured that they're going to fuck us on. So I'm going to go back to fairness in business. So being we're the producer and we pay everything retail and we can only sell it for the wholesale price, there's the end user, which is he is producing a product that he is selling at retail price. So his inputs come in cheap, and then he sells his product to make up for everything that they have put in. Plus, they're making somewhere between 6 and 8% over the top of what it costs to get that product to the consumer. Now, 8 to 10% is pretty good. 6, 7, 8% is pretty good. You're going to make a good living on that. So, I don't know, I haven't bought mushrooms in the store. I'm going to ask Teresa next time she goes shopping what the price difference in mushrooms was from a year ago to today, because you could get a pound of mushrooms on sale for $2 a pound or $3 a pound, depending on what it was, whether they were browns or whites, and so have they raised their prices as well? Because if they have raised their prices, then they're offsetting the costs of their inputs, because I know that their input costs have gone up. Labor's up, fuel is up, equipment's up, parts are up, everything's up, and they kept us at the same, all of us. And then one guy had the audacity to tell me that, everybody else is happy with the price, so why shouldn't you be? He says, I'm not happy about going broke over to you people. No. So fairness in business is, and I'm sorry about how you felt about the way I explained it, but you have to be fair. It's not a socialist platform. It's just good business practice. So if you have a business and you treat everybody that you work with fairness, I'm not saying equality, I mean equal pay. So I don't want to make what the CEO makes. I do want to be able to pay my wages and pay for my equipment and my fuel and all my inputs without getting hit with huge interest rates on loans that I have to take out because I can't pay the bill. Okay? That's what I don't want to do. And when you express these concerns with the people that you do business with, and they're just like, suck it up, buttercup. If you don't like it, go away. We don't need your product. Well, that may be true. You don't need my product today. You may not even need my product tomorrow. But with these facilities that you're purchasing and building and adding on to and expecting to expand with, when you try to fire those up and the material you need is no longer available because you weren't too fair to the guy that was keeping you going, this would have been a better idea. Hey, you know what? We're not going to need as much material, Mr. Pandy. But what we will do is we will pay you, a fair price for your product. for maybe less tons and you can find someplace else to put it. I'm cool with that. But when they want you to contract every stitch of material that you produce for that price and you have no way out of it, I don't know. There's nothing fair about that. And you have to be fair in business or you will not have a business. It will come back to bite you in the ass. And that's what I was trying to explain with my little round table thing. I want to get to that comment where the bastard called me a... Okay, so you're a self-proclaimed expert, so you should know what TP do, right? I don't even know what that toilet paper do. Whatever TP do, right? Make and anticipate the conditions, Mr. Know-It-All. What TP do? Maybe he was trying to write what to do. I do know what to do. And I'm doing it. I'm implementing it. The unfortunate thing is that the process it can't be instantaneous because we used to contract in April, and they found out that if you contracted in April and we didn't like the price, we killed a bunch of hay and put in corn and soybeans. So now they go to from mid to the end of June where you have no chance of killing off your hay because it's a jungle for one, and for two, you kill off your hay. You can't kill off your hay and put in corn. You can make the hay and then drill in soybeans, late beans, and not have any, not have any real yield because it's too late to really get those beans in. Now, there's a lot of guys in this area that will put beans in until the 10th of July, which I am not one of those people. I don't like doing it. I used to do that when we would have bad weather, and then the beans only ever got this tall and they were just a nightmare. So, self-proclaimed expert, actually Daniel Lubar, I am an expert in my field. I know what I'm doing. You watch me on this YouTube and you see my successes and you see my failures. I express both, okay? I really do. There's a lot of people out here in La La Land that do not express their failures. They express their successes and maybe touch a little bit on their failures just before they say, hey, there's a GoFundMe page, go give me some fucking money. And, and that's okay. To each their own. I will not do that. I don't care. Just be happy you're at the table. Doesn't get paid equal. Are you a socialist? Just be happy you're at the table. Everyone doesn't get paid equal. Are you a socialist? This is the Michael Parker. If you're unhappy, find a different table to sit at or start your own. I've been in this business for over 20 years. I have done corn, soybeans, wheat, rye. I've done barley. I've done alfalfa, clover. Never did lesbedeza. Nobody knows what it is. It is a great forage, by the way. I've done contract work, still do. And I do okay. Will I go bankrupt? No. But if I continue doing the same things that I have been doing, I will go bankrupt. As for being a socialist, maybe you missed the point. It's not that I want equal pay. It's that I want to be treated fairly within the business that I work with. And that's it. That's just the point of it. If we don't like the price of corn when we're harvesting, we store it until we find a price that matches what we need. And that is, that's what we do there. That's why we build grain bins and store corn and pay the 2 cents a bushel storage fees and all this other stuff. We do that because we are searching for that price. And the unfortunate thing is with the unfair treatment that we're getting down in Kennett, Avondale area of Pennsylvania, is that we see with our own two eyes that they're spending money like there's no end to it. And new loaders, and I get it, they need to have this stuff in order to produce what they're producing. But when you know that the company is doing well because they're purchasing land and they're building new facility and they're pouring concrete and they're doing all this stuff, you know that they're borrowing the money from you. They're taking the money from you to do these things. That is not very fair, because how are we supposed to build on our infrastructure to continue to produce a product that is suitable to them? I use fertilizer, full-blown blended fertilizers, NPK and sulfur, in my hay production. When you do that, it goes from the fertilizer buggy to the soil to the plant. Plant gets cut, baled into a bale of hay, goes to the composter. Composter knows that he's getting a quality product from me. And there are a lot of farmers, i.e. everybody around me, that feel that putting fertilizer on hay is a dead-end situation. Well, it isn't, because you get more money, or you used to get more money. You get more material for the same amount of acres, and generally, and I've dealt with other mushroom growers that used to probe the damn stuff and take samples of it, and they know that they're getting quality material. And they cut out the ones that, the dead sticks. What I call a dead stick. You're a dead stick if you are dead stick farming if you are not taking care of your ground. It's like taking a shit and not wiping your ass, right? You can do that once, might even get away with it twice. But you know what? Eventually that rash is going to come on, and it's going to be a big one. And if you continue to not wipe your ass, pretty soon you're headed to the hospital to get some kind of special ointment to kill the infection that has infested your asshole. And that is what dead stick farming is. Only put nitrogen down or only put nothing down. And there's a lot of guys that put absolutely 100% nothing down with zero rotation. And then they wonder why their equipment's worn out and they can't afford to buy new. Well, when we were making good money baling mulch hay, and I've made as much as $120 a ton baling mulch hay. It's great. You can pay your equipment bills, you can pay your guys, you can upgrade your equipment and do all these wonderful things with that type of a price, and it's fair. It's a fair price. You can build on infrastructure. Now, $120 a ton, I don't need $120 a ton. When we were at $115 a ton, that was a real nice medium. When what we're at right now is a far cry from a joke, and they should know it, because I've told them both that you either don't want our product or you don't want me. What is it? If you don't want me, just tell me. I'll find somewhere else to go. It's not that hard. And they're like, no, we need the product. Well, if you need it, then we're going to have to come up with a happy medium here. You're going to have to meet me halfway at least. But there was no way that I was going to get any higher price. So they're going to get shit. I'm not going to spend my time and money to put tarps on hay. They're going to get wet crap, and that's going to affect them, because why should I put in extra effort to give them a quality product when they're not even worried about me at all? Like, oh, you put tarps on? Well, we're still going to dock you because we're going to... Oh, and that's a whole nother thing. This moisture probe thing is really starting to piss me off. Now, I started sending them just full-blown, wet-ass material that was out from under a tarp for the last 2 months. Just fuck you, I don't care. Because I send dry in, and I get docked 10%. I send wet in, I get docked 8 to 10%. Same thing. So, if the load weighs 3 tons more because of water, and they dock me that 8 to 10%, they've got me to the dry. But when I pull it out from under a tarp, and they're sticking this damn thing, and they're coming out with 8 to 10% moisture, it just seems like that's it. You're getting docked 8 to 10%. Doesn't matter if it is 2% moisture. And I have a moisture probe, so I know. And I've expressed this to him. And you know, he tells me, he says, well, call me when your guy is down there, and I'll come probe it myself. But you're probably not going to like what I come up with. So basically, you're telling me that you're going to dock me no matter what, because it's in your protocol. And I get it. So I'm going to start dousing my hay with water so that you get to dock me that 10%, and that's it. Right? Is that what you want? Because that's what you're going to get. It will pay me more to douse it with water so you dock me down to dry material than it is to take dry material in and you just steal it from me, because that's how I feel. And that's what I'm getting. That particular company, I sold them a lot of material, and there was that particular one, sold them a lot of material, and I like going in there. It's okay. We're in and out pretty quickly, and But what I don't like is the fact that it doesn't matter whether that shit is dry or wet. It's docked. And when they're taking $200-300 a load off of your pay, that's the driver and the fuel. It costs me almost $500 a load to get that shit down there. And when they take $200-300 away, Lewis's pay is, the fuel and Lewis is gone just like that. Boom. And so, and they're upset with me because I stopped hauling into them. And now I'm hauling into them, but I'm not hauling in heavy to them. It's just like, well, okay, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? And they just want to keep docking. So dock away, baby. I'm only going to sell them 100 loads of material. That's it. The rest goes to the other place. I'm not kissing their ass, because if you're not getting docked unnecessarily, you know what your income's going to be. And you can work around that. There's some fairness there. This place, not being too fair. And won't have it. Won't hear it. This stupid moisture probe has duct tape. Not even electrical tape. Duct tape wrapped around the cord where the probe goes in. So they know there's a problem with it, but yet they've failed to remedy the problem. And I know that my moisture probe is good because it's brand spanking new. Calibrated, and it works, because it works the same numbers that I got from the other guy, the other place. They stick it, and we're within 1 or 2% each way. So if he sticks it and it says 14, and I stick it, mine might be 13, or it might be 15. And then he sticks it in another place, and because I want to know, is my probe the same? So I'm taking my probe down again to this other place when I get down there, and I'm going to stick it right along with them. And if their numbers are different by any more than 1 or 2%, that's it. I'm done taking in there until they figure that thing out. So, and I don't give a damn. I don't care. If they want to sue me for a breach of contract, knock your socks off. We'll see how far you get. So, anyway, I'm not a socialist. I'm all for capitalism, and that's exactly what I'm expressing, my capitalist way of life. The problem is it's going to take a couple of years in order to shift away from one crop to another. Me and my wife and everybody else in this family are planning on killing 1,000 acres of hay. That's it. 1,000 acres of hay. Gone. And that's okay, because I'm going to put in corn, rye, beans, corn, back to hay. Because there is going to come a time when they're going to be paying again. And I've got a lot of hay equipment. I just bought a brand new baler. It's coming next year. And it's going to be going to wherever it is I'm baling custom work. That's what that one's for. And they can just fuck off or whatever they want to do about their hay pricing. If they don't get it right, they're not getting any of it. I'll just go to something else. Anyways, I hope you understand now about fairness in business. If you're not fair to everyone you do business with, you will not be doing business for very long. Any business that has been successful, and I've been around a lot of successful businesses in my life, any of those businesses are very, very fair. Very, very fair. And, I don't need to be paid $1 million for a $900,000 crop. I need to be paid $1 million for $1 million crop. That's just the long and the short of it. If I'm producing a crop that is worth $900,000, I would like it to be $900,000 back to me. I want my 8%. That's what I want. I want my 8%. Because if I don't get my 8%, you're getting what? What are you getting? You're getting rich off of me because you're not being fair in business. And now the shift is going to happen. I'm shifting away from you. And I will shift away from all of you. I don't care. I can sell balers, or I can stack my balers up, cover them up, put them in a building, and just do custom work and grow grain home. That's okay. I can do that. I've got 2 places that I can go do custom work right now. And the unfortunate thing is I've got all this hay at home and property owners that I promised I would take that hay off of. So those property owners, I've made them a promise. I'm a man of my word. I will make the hay. I will do it, and I'll get it off of there. Next year, you may be looking at a cornfield. And they're all like, oh, really? That'd be cool. This has been hay for like 15 years, and I'd like to see it into corn again anyway. So, yeah, I do need the mushroom grower for the compost, though. A little bit of wiggle room on the compost, I will produce for the compost, trust me. So anyways, I've been on here for 40 minutes and 40 seconds, and I guess I may be a little bit angry. Just want you to know that I am all for capitalist society. It works well. It's just, if you're going to do business, they could have done it a little bit better than what they have. They could have said to me in April, hey, Wesley, we don't need as much material. We're not going to pay as much for your material. Or, hey, Wesley, we need the same amount of material. It's unfortunate that we can't pay you more because we're getting hit at the other end because of COVID-19, and that's what I heard. In 2019, it was really bad. 2018 and 2019 was the price fixing thing. Fall of 2019, we end up with the COVID-19, and then 2020 was like, oh yeah, well, we're going to cut your price $10 a ton. Well, you take $10 a ton over a 10,000 ton contract. Do the math. If you woke up every day and went to your job where you made $110,000 a year, right? And they say, well, sorry, we're going to take $100,000 out of your paycheck, and you're going to show up with a smile on and do the same quality work for $10,000. I don't think so. I really don't. I don't. And that's really what happened to us. They knocked $10 a ton off on a 10,000 ton contracts between the 2 places. 10,000 tons. They robbed $100,000 from me. The one place took almost $15. No, wait a minute. What did they take? One place took 12. The other one took 14. So, $130,000. That's what I lost last year because of these people. Where's the fairness there? I expected it to be 1 year, and then the prices go up on everything. Input costs go up, and they know it because they're buying diesel fuel. They're paying for refrigeration and electric and all that stuff. Everything goes up, but we're going to keep those guys at the same price? I don't think so. It sucks. Really sucks. So, anyway, with that being said, I guess I'm just being redundant, and I'm sure there's going to be some dickhead and a half that gets on here and says, oh, cry me a river. Well, when you're watching your business slip away because other people are not being fair to you, then you come and you talk to me, and we'll have a real intelligent conversation on what can be done to change it. And we're not getting any changes here because they just don't want to hear it. So I'm going to change. I'm going to change for my better, not their better. And when they realize that they need to be more fair to the hay guy, because 10,000 tons is a lot of material. It is, it really is. But they're not going to be fair to the hay guy. The hay guy's going to go do something else, and then they're going to have to find hay somewhere else. And maybe the quality of that material will not be as good as what they've been enjoying from me. And that's about all I'm going to say about that. So you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.